So, welcome everyone to the Rough Diamond podcast, another health installment of our wonderful pod. Today, we are talking with Shawn and Julianne Lechuga, Dr. Julianne Lechuga, and we are talking about all things natural medicine. Today, we're missing our illustrious, beautiful Victoria Williston, but she will catch up with us a different day. She's usually on with us, so our listeners might be missing her, but I promise you we have lots of stuff planned. So I just wanted to talk with you about how we connected to begin with. So I met Shawn and Julianne many years ago. It was in passing, but it was almost like fate, wouldn't you say?
100%. I
Yeah,
absolutely agree with that.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was 2016, 17 when we were approached by Mark McIntosh regarding a stronger chord, which was a program that he was building here in the Denver metro area, and he was bringing it all towards the south side of town where we were at, and came to us at our church, which is All Souls Catholic Church, and that's where he was going to run that event on, I think it was Wednesday nights actually, and he approached me as far as helping with personal training and getting things going on that side. Back in those days, I was training full time. And that's where you and I, or all of us, actually got to meet, was through that great program that Mark had built. And then we reconnected in 2023, 2024 through Priscilla over at Misfit. Yeah, I just think like all the like minds in the health and wellness field, we don't drift very far.
Yeah, we got together in our orbit rather fast. And Mark McIntosh used to be the sports guy for, I think, Channel 7.
Channel 4 and KOA 850. He did the CU Buffaloes football games, the sideline. Yeah.
He was really close friends with my uncle Bill McCartney.
Yes.
Yes. And went to visit him a lot and wrote a lot about him in his later years also. Mark is dear to my heart. I'm actually doing the transplant games. I'm volunteering at the transplant games because of Mark here in just a couple of weeks. So that'll be fun. I'm doing pickleball and archery and volleyball.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I have no idea what to expect, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I do miss those days, the stronger core days. Those were a lot of fun. We looked forward to every Wednesday night going over there and seeing everybody. And we still keep in touch with Mark once in a while, not as much as we used to, but yeah, those were fun times.
Yeah, and just for our listeners, for a background for a stronger chord, Mark put together this kind of thing for our homeless people on drugs, people that were struggling with addiction, recovery, just different various things to bring them together, give them an opportunity to get healthy, get a workout in, volunteer to do awesome things. And it was really fun. That's actually where I got my origins, like where I started as a trainer was training a lot of people that had just got out of prison and people that were dealing with drug addiction, which was always funny because they would just cry on leg day. I would come in and they would be like, and it would be all these men that are supposed to be hardened, tattooed, whatever. And Jennifer's here. She's gonna make us do legs.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was some of my favorite times, putting together those workouts for those people. And it's funny coming from a former trainer and you still a current trainer, like we think that stuff's easy. Oh, this isn't that bad, guys. And then you get them going, and after the first or second round, they're dying over there. So it was funny.
It is so funny. It's rewarding to be able to help introduce them to a healthier lifestyle. The understanding that you can take action behind your words, behind your things, or behind the things that you say in NA and AA or your groups or whatever. You can take action that is completely different from anything that you've ever done before.
Yeah.
That's healthy for you. And it might be hard at first, but it starts to get easier over time, and it helps them to build a good foundation of everything else.
Yeah. And I think once people finally have that realization that they're in control of their own lives and they get to make those choices, like nobody else has a say so in what they can and can't do. And once you give them that power back, I think it's easier to get on that path towards recovery.
Absolutely. Empower them to be able to take control over their lives. I think that is a huge thing because working on yourself as I'm doing a series on recovery and as I'm interviewing for this series, one thing that I'm noticing is that everybody did a lot of self-work. That is where the sweet spot was. That's what really got them over the hump was to go inward and say, okay, what is it inside that's messed up? So that maybe not messed up, but that's just not lining up, not aligned, that we can bring back into alignment. What can we do? And a lot of people don't do inner work. A lot of people don't even know that exists. And I'm sure we can touch on that here a little bit later in our conversation. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to take me back to the beginning. What was the moment or experience that made you guys say conventional medicine isn't the full picture?
Oh,
I mean,
I think we have two different stories, but I'll let Shawn go first and I'm happy to share.
for me personally, that's been in my blood since I can remember. Even as a child, as many kids refuse to go to the doctor. Like it wasn't like that, like where kids like try to fight because they don't want to get shots or they don't want this or that. I legitimately did not feel, even as a child, that I was being helped or healed at the doctor's, at a traditional doctor's office. And then the other side of things is growing up with my grandfather on my mom's side, who was a pharmacist, but he was a pharmacist back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, like a long time ago, where they still used natural medicine along with pharmaceuticals, or in the pharmaceuticals, there was more natural cures and cares and therapies. So growing up with him and my grandmother, who treated themselves with supplements and herbs and things like that, was my way of knowing and understanding that's where you're going to get the best overall care. Whenever I didn't feel good as a kid, I wanted to go straight to my grandma's house because I knew she had something there for me that would make me feel better, whether it was like an upset stomach or a cough or whatever. And so growing up around that, even as a little child, took me into my younger adult years where athletics, fitness, things like that were always a big part of my life. And it was just a very easy transition, knowing and understanding and learning more about nutrition and natural therapies, that it was just, it's always been, it wasn't like a light that flipped for me. It was just always there for me in my life. And I think that's where I was. I know she has a totally, completely different story.
Can you tell our listeners what you do now? As are you a personal trainer? What is it that you're doing right now?
So I still have a certified personal trainer certificate. It's still active. However, I only take special clients right now as far as training. It's a rare thing for me. I've transitioned more into the private nutritional therapy, consulting, health and wellness consulting and coaching side of things, learning more nuances there rather than the personal training. And I loved training. I still love fitness. I'm an advocate for that, but I've just transitioned myself. I know I've been able to, and I know I can help more on the nutrition side of things. And that's where I stand now as a nutritional therapy practitioner. Something new that actually we just added to our practice is myofascial release therapy. So that's something that I've dove down into that little hole there and explored that more. And yeah, so that's where I'm at now.
I can talk to you guys about fascia all day. I love fascia. I'm like
Yeah.
the nerd when it comes to stuff like that. So I get it.
Yeah, and it's a different, obviously a different type of massage. And our appointments are only about 15 or 20 minutes long. They're quick, but a lot of stretching, a lot of pulling, and a lot of release that way. It's not your typical dig into a certain spot like traditional massage. I think it actually works even better.
Does. I think so too. Because it breaks the fascia apart and it lets it stretchy again
Yeah.
and allows it to have that elasticity back that it so desperately needs. Julianne, tell us, you are a doctor of natural medicine, right?
Correct. Yep. I work in natural medicine and bioenergetic, which deals in specific scanning devices.
Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. You're a triple doctorate. Don't cut yourself short. She has three doctors.
Yeah, I do. And I'm a doctor of sacred medicine. So I work with a lot of herbs, both from Chinese herbs, Native American herbs, European traditional based herbs that most people know, homeopathic. So there's a lot of different types of medicine that I have knowledge and background in. Plus, I have a lot of different backgrounds into different types of practices, which we could definitely talk later about, which happens to actually do an energetic emotional release and trauma. So we could definitely hit on that one later as well. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yes, and I love that stuff. I personally have a lot of background when it comes to herbal remedies and natural medicine because of my mom. I'm not a doctor by any means, but I was taught and it was passed to me from a very young age. So you take us back to the beginning. What was the moment or experience that made you say conventional medicine wasn't the big picture for you?
So I'll start a little bit in my childhood, only a brief second. My grandmother did a lot with Chinese herbs and natural medicine, and it was very unique because back then I would just take these little pellet pills, and I was like, I don't know what she's giving me, but I'm going to take it. And it helped. I didn't really put a lot of thought or emphasis into it, but fast forwarding, a lot of people along the pathway would call her kook and strange and this, that, and the other. And so I even her herself would tell me, I think you could be a doctor and things like that. But I think even she had this traditional idea of a doctor looking like an MD,
White coat.
a white coat doctor. Yep. And so I had this idea that I wanted to be a doctor. And I definitely, it wasn't a mask that was given to me, but I felt like it was definitely mine to own. And so as I started going through, I kept visualizing what kind of doctor I wanted to be. And I couldn't really put my finger on it because every type of medicine, there was always death and extreme illness. And it made me very sad. And my thoughts were, I want to help people thrive and live longer and more successful lives and just healthier. And I just never could figure it out. And so fast forwarding, I ended up going through all of school I was a certified nurse assistant for 12 years, became very close to the gentleman that I worked for. And during that time, I kept thinking, I really want to take this to the next level. I got my bachelor's in psychology, and I thought to myself, maybe I am ready to go to nursing and just put my feet in the water and just see if this is really the path I want, because I was tiptoeing around everything. And on my way into nursing school, I had interviewed with the director of Regis for the nursing board. And I had sat down and talked to the gal. And she asked me, the first question she asked me is, why did you decide to get a bachelor's in psychology? And I said, because I feel like the mental health is such an important role that plays into the physical health. And it also matters to how you can relate to people, that compassion and all that stuff that you can bring to the table. And she was like blown away. You're the first person I've ever met that didn't have something in exercise science or nutritional or whatever, some type of background besides what I decided to go into. And so I was granted a spot in the nursing program. And then right around the same time, we met a holistic doctor that did acupuncture, chiropractics, and nutrition. He was all encompassing. And so I had my own health problems at that time.
Full stories.
And
I didn't want to go see him.
Yes.
I actually drug her in there.
Yeah, you did. But
she told me, she said, I'll go in one time. And if I don't buy into it or I don't see any results, then I'm out of here.
Yeah. So I had my own health issues. During this time frame, I had just been diagnosed with early stages of fibromyalgia. And I also had a couple years prior to that, I had a miscarriage halfway through my term, and I was trying to have more kids, and I just felt like my body was angry at me and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I agreed to go see this doctor. And I told Shawn when we went in and he told us we had to change all these things. I said, I'm an all in men kind of person. So either I'm going all in or I'm not going in at all. So that was what we did. And before I was supposed to start the nursing program, we started his nutritional program. And I will tell you, the first week was the worst I had ever felt in my entire life. Don't quit anything cold turkey. I'm not kidding. It was real. But anyways, fast forward past that month. By the time that month was over, I had felt the best I had ever felt. And I was like, what is going on? And so I decided to take a pause on the nursing part and step into what he was doing. And I decided to really go into what he was telling me to do and practicing and following everything. And 6 months in, they couldn't find any traces of fibromyalgia, any problems, nothing. And then within a year of his program, I was pregnant with twins. And so it was like, after that, I said, this is it. This is what I want to do. This actually helps heal people, not harm them. It helps them create that lifestyle. It helps break them free of the way their body is feeling, the shit that they're basically dealing with. Excuse me.
We had some on the Ref Diamond podcast.
I love it. Come in.
Don't you worry, this isn't PG. No, but I love that. I love that because that is true. It's a pathway that you have to create habits upon, and you can get to a destination of health. It is not a band-aid that you can cure with a pill or with a shot or anything like that.
No.
That is always a temporary solution. And I really love that you wanted to find a solution for real for people and that you were able to see that contrast, right? You can see the sterility of the pharmaceutical industry in your nursing program. And then you can see the contrast of the warmth and the natural measures that were taken and how it affected you positively in spite of the issues that you were facing being categorically, supposedly chronic issues, right? And they are not, and they were not for you because you took initiative and decided to take the steps necessary to find that pathway. And that's huge. And it led you to an even bigger, better pathway of life. So how did the two of you come together around this work? Was it a shared conviction from the start, or did one person pull the other along?
No, I think we actually came on this journey together. Initially, we thought we were going to be a supplement or
Our business was born during COVID. That's when we started having well, I take that back. We started having ideas of something that we wanted to start creating in 2019, like middle to late 2019. And then when we were gifted that beautiful gift of time during the COVID stuff, that's when we went to work on it. But because everything was shut down, we actually started the company based around supplements and health and wellness products. So we were doing things like affiliate marketing and selling supplements. At that point in time, we were still very well versed in supplementation and ingredients and knowing how to label read and things like that. So we were very stringent on what supplements we would recommend for people, but it was a Shopify business, and it started out, the wellness shop 365 was born. And then as we transitioned, as things started opening up again and we grew, that's when we took that step and started seeing people in person for different coaching, consulting, and therapy resolution. And that's when we transitioned our name into Peak Wellness 365 because we weren't any longer just a shop. We weren't just a Shopify store. So that's how our clinic was born. But yeah, we were always side by side with each other. And that's one of the things I've learned over the years. We've done a lot of different podcasts and a lot of different interviews. And the thing we hear from a lot of people is it's very rare to have a spouse or spouses on the same page, where it's like usually one of them has this idea and, oh, I want to quit my job and I want to go do this, and then the other spouse is, hell no, you're not quitting your freaking job, you better just do what you're doing. And that's where usually the fights come in, the breakups, whatever it may be. But her and I we're always on the same page, but we communicate about everything. So I don't think that's always been a strong point.
Super important. And your clinic is in downtown Littleton, correct?
In the heart of downtown Littleton, yeah. We're about a block to the north on Prince Street, right off of Main Street. So if you go down Main Street in Littleton, take a right on Prince, and we're just there on the right-hand side. There's a Mango Tree Coffee, and then we're on the next block.
I love that coffee shop.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's one of my favorite places. They actually do a really nice cappuccino. So I really like that place.
It is cool.
For our listeners, downtown Littleton is the coolest little town. They have a lot of artsy, cool events. They have a lot of theater things happening. There's a lot of different shops and stuff down there. So if you ever make it out to Colorado, which is a popular tourist place, don't just hang out in Denver. Hang
Right.
Right.
and Littleton is way cooler, way more quaint. You will make friends for sure wherever you go because everybody that hangs out in downtown Littleton is really nice and wants to be your friend. Tell me how you guys would define natural medicine as someone for someone who's only ever known the pharmaceutical order. How would you break that down for them?
So let me start by saying this because I had somebody ask me this one time and they said, how do you sell somebody on natural medicine? And I said, okay, here's the thing. All we're doing is helping you go back to your roots. All it is what we've been, it's the real food, it's the real plants, it's everything that was here before everything else became so mainstream, inundated with crap, and just built upon more crap, which makes it so confusing too, because everybody's, this is so great. This is the best thing since sliced pie. And you meet people and they're on 50 supplements and you're like, okay, you can't absorb that many. I'm going to tell you that right now. So you just need to stop right there. But really, it's going back to the basics of just the natural place in this world that we all came from, where it's just the earth and you being a part of it. You don't need all the crap to add into that. Now, there's things that you might need to help support that, which is why herbs are there. But it is not necessary to take 50 things to make you feel good.
No, at the end of the day, what we really need to be doing is eating healthy whole foods, eating the rainbow, not the rainbow, not tricks, no, not Skittles. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Eating colorful foods, like making sure that your plate is vibrant in color, but not with processed foods, right? We're not talking about a Baja Blast. That is a colorful drink. But what I mean is eating a balanced diet, right? Broccoli, tomatoes, bell peppers, pickles, cucumbers, whatever it is, squash. Squash is my favorite thing in the whole world. I love squash so much. Beets, right? I hated beets so much whenever I was a kid, but beets have so many natural just remedies inside of them. Beets are an amazing superfood, and people don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
And so you guys bringing that connection through, what would you say, Shawn? What would you say?
I,
How would you describe natural medicine for someone who's only
I,
a pharmaceutical?
I will just sum it up for you really quick. And what we do there at Peak Wellness 365, or what we do here. So we help people of all and any ages heal naturally by addressing the root cause of their health challenges. And we use natural therapies, personalized nutrition, and lifestyle-based solutions.
I
Period.
love it. That's perfect. And that's exactly what should be. And everybody needs to know that, right? You have ultimate control over how long you live. What?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Did she just say that out loud? Because everywhere you hear, you look around and people are saying you have no control over how long you live. That's not true. Because
Yeah.
if you do not build muscle, you are going to die probably 10 years earlier than you would if you did build muscle because something's going to happen to you. You're going to fall. You're going to break something. It's going to become a chronic condition, and then it becomes a problem and it shortens your life. You absolutely have a choice of how long you want to live, and you absolutely have a choice of your quality of life as you're getting there. As
Yeah.
long as you take the necessary steps. So what you said is so great. I love that. There's a lot of fear-based health messaging out there. So what is your philosophy on how people should relate to their own bodies?
Trust your instincts. There is a lot of good information that your body gives back to you and it will tell you. And if you just stop to listen, it has a lot to say, and you don't really require a lot of external advice around that. Now, it's not to say that that you can't have somebody that's willing to help you discover yourself more. Now, that's different. And that's where people need to understand. So, all these health gurus and things out there, they're great, but the thing is that we need people to understand themselves better, not be the white coat teacher where they feel like they have to turn to somebody else to get their answers of how to give their body the things they need. That's not true. You actually have it all inside of you. You just might need somebody to help you understand how to access that and get there a little bit quicker and easier without all the hiccups that we could sometimes encounter.
Yeah, because having somebody to give you instructions makes things a little bit easier, but you shouldn't have to rely on somebody as a source to take care of your body. You should be able to do it yourself. I 100% agree with that. What do you
Yeah,
think?
we're not kids anymore. We're not, it's not like your mom is telling you, you have to eat your vegetables, you have to, that's great and all, and it is something important, but at the same time, you have to listen to your body. And there are times where, I'm sorry, vegetables can be a little bit hard on the system. There's some deeper stuff to that. And I've had people go, and Shawn can attest on his end from the stuff he does at the clinic, but we've had people come in that'll be vegetarians, or they're like, I eat all the best vegetables. And I'm like, by the way, one of your worst problems is all these vegetables over here because of your body is attacking itself. Right now, we need to calm down the system. All these 20 vegetables, they're basically your enemy until we can get that calmed down.
I feel that, and definitely the fiber differences between the different vegetables matters. People don't really grasp that. They think it's all the same. No, there's a lot of different fiber. No fiber is created equal. The fiber, the way that broccoli works with my system may not be the way that broccoli works with your system. I'm a coach and trainer. I don't necessarily eat a lot of vegetables. I eat salad, but to get my nutrients and my little bit of fructose or glucose for my workouts, I go for fruit. I
Yeah.
go for blueberries, or I go for blackberries or a mango, as opposed to broccoli or green beans or anything like that, because it's just my preference. It feels better in my system, and I notice it, right? And I think that over time, as people get into a more natural rhythm and doing kind of the practices that you guys promote in your clinic, I think that as they do that, like whenever they do introduce other stuff, it starts to make them feel like crap. And then they're like, oh, and then that's when you can really notice as you get healthier, you can really hone in on the differences in how you feel when you eat certain things as well. So people can really see that as they step into your clinic as they're detoxing.
Coming into a natural medicine arena, you have to be able to step outside your comfort zone and try something hard. Stop taking the easy route. Stop taking the easy road. Stop, oh, I can just take this pill or do whatever and I'll feel better. That again is a band-aid, right? So you cannot be afraid to step outside your comfort zone, try something hard. And the other thing is like what Julianne was talking about with the vegetables. These are temporary sacrifices. Taking these things away are a short-term sacrifice. This is not a long-term thing. This is not something where we're not trying to say that certain vegetables are unhealthy. That's not what we're saying. It's just that some people have reactions to these things that you have to take them out of their diet in order for them to heal from the inside out, and then you reintroduce them again. So many people get messed up with this interpretation of, oh, they're going to take this food away from me. I can't do that. Like, really? Like, you can't do something hard for 30 or 60 days? Like, I don't know what's that. But, and that would be my kind of my challenge to people listening and watching this. If you're not up for that, we're not the place for you.
Yeah. And it's so important to do hard things. There is a beautiful clip between Andrew Huberman and David Goggins where Andrew Huberman is talking about the health benefits of doing hard things first.
Yeah.
And what grows this part of your brain, portion of your brain called the anterior cingulate, mid cingulate cortex or something like that. I'm not a brain scientist, but if you don't do hard things, it shrinks back up. And it's something that contributes to longevity and something that contributes to overall well-being as well. And so if that is just an indicator, if we are literally created to do hard things, let's challenge our listeners. Yes, do hard things. It is time to change your lifestyle. The Ozempic or your GLP-1, it's a great band-aid and it's a great way to kick things off because it lowers your glucose. And there are certain pathways that can help, especially if you are a person that has tough time wrapping your mind around doing hard things first at first. But, and that's a big but, the better thing to do is just to start off doing the hard thing first and figuring out what foods are causing what. And you're right, stripping things away so that you can add the right things back in later.
And people have got to realize natural medicine and this route of becoming healthy is a process. It's not an event. This is the rest of your life. This isn't just a month or even 6 months, right? Or even like when we take people years down the road, 1 to 2 to 3 years, where they're actually, what do we call it? The word that we use.
Maintenance phase.
Yes, but there's another word we use for it. But basically, they are in a maintenance phase where everything is going well. Their diet is opened up. They're good to go. They're on minimal supplements, or they're on the longevity type supplements like probiotics and fish oil and things like that, rather than the healing supplements. If you don't keep that up, you can fall right back. You can go right back to where you came from. It's almost like an alcoholic who quits drinking for 10 or 15 years and then goes and has a drink because they think that they can control it. And all that time, whoop, it's right back again. So it's a lifestyle adjustment. This isn't a temporary diet. This isn't an event. It's a process forever.
I wanted to quickly note something that it stuck with me and it's been a big thing is I saw it on a couple different YouTubes or different, I don't know, quick videos. And somebody said it really well. They said basically everything you do can be considered hard because if you're eating bad, eventually your body starts breaking down and then you can't move
Choose your hard.
yeah, choose your hard.
Yeah.
You can exercise or you could sit on the couch and overweight and then eventually your bones start breaking down. And then in the long run, you can't get up and go to the bathroom by yourself, right? I actually have an uncle that he's actually regretting some of his early things in life, which one of them was his alcoholism. And right now he has cirrhosis of the liver. He looks like death rolled over. He can barely walk out of his house and he's 51 years old. Now, choose your hard. Do you want to sacrifice now and have the best life ever? Which health is money. It really is because the longer you can hold your body and make it this castle of yours, the more you can accomplish in life and the more success you can have in life. But if you can only barely lift your remote or walk outside on your front porch or things like that, then that's hard too. And it's going to eventually cost you a shortened lifespan on top of all of that. So use your hard.
And it's not hopeless. You can start now. Like if
Yeah.
you're 35 years old and you are an alcoholic and you have liver issues and liver damage and all that stuff, if you stop drinking today and you go see Dr. Julianne today and you figure out everything that you need to figure out and you take the correct steps and you change your lifestyle and you do the work and you do the hard things, your heart will look real different.
Yeah.
It will be a much easier hard because
Yeah.
you're supposed to do the harder things on the front end. And then by the time you get to be 51 years old, your life will be completely different.
Yeah.
And you won't even remember having liver problems or anything because your liver rejuvenates. And your body is a remarkable thing. You can heal yourself. You just have to have the right information, have the right guidance, and choose to do the hard things first.
Yeah.
I love it. So where do you guys draw the line? Are there situations where you would refer clients towards conventional medicine, or do you guys always lead with natural approaches first?
I think it depends on the person who's coming in. That's why our initial consultation with everyone, and I'll let Dr. J fill in all the details, but our initial appointments between 2.5 and 3 hours, because that allows us to obviously for them to get to know us and what we do and how we can help them, but also lets us get to know who they are and where they stand as well. We've had people who've come in where this just wasn't the route for them. They weren't ready to make those sacrifices or those changes for their health. and they explored a different route, which is fine. We're not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. But I probably defer off to you and let you fill in the.
There are times where I've had actually people come in with cancer or post-cancer or prior, and unfortunately have been able to identify it for them and then had them come back afterwards. But I will have them go seek conventional medicine because that is something that if we can get to it quick enough, I do feel like there's some options available for them. And in the long run, I do feel that them coming to me afterwards gives them a lot of hope. I have had a lot of success with post patients with cancer come to me and have a lot of success afterwards. And the whole goal is to get the body back to its ability to fight off disease because cancer is a big thing that will come back, especially once it's happened once. And here's the other thing. We all have cancer in our body. It just depends on what we feed it and how we treat it and all those things that we can do to either ignite it and make it grow or keep it away and at bay because it is a natural thing. We all have cancer cells in our body. It's just what we put in it that matters that will change the outcome of it.
It's a cell mutation based on environment, genetics, and whatnot. So you have to maintain these things. And environment it goes back to what you're putting in your body as well. The water that you're drinking, the area that you live in, or it could be, or if you have mold in your house, there could be a bunch of different triggers that cause that issue. So you have to have the tools and the knowledge to kind of maintain cell integrity. Right. And in order to do that, you should seek out people that know how to do that, like you guys.
I will add one thing too. It's been really interesting to us. It's been great. I didn't think it was going to be this way. We have a handful of patients in the clinic actively right now that were referred to us by traditional medicine doctors. Some through Kaiser, others through their regular MDs that could not figure out what was going on, and they actually referred them to us directly. It goes both ways. And I think that was always a goal of mine where traditional medicine and natural medicine should work in harmony. There's a lot of things that traditional medicine, they don't teach them in school. We pick up all of that on the other side as far as the nutrition and exercise, all of that,
mental,
all of those things. We can work together to help people even better instead of fighting against each other, saying this isn't good or this isn't good on one side or the other. And that's what has started coming about in our clinic.
What I will quickly note, just real quick, is that one of the things is I don't pawn people off very often. And here's the reason why, because sometimes if somebody has a heart issue and they come in to see me, I'm like, oh, so have you seen your doctor? And they're like, yeah, I see a cardiologist for this. And I'm like, okay, anybody else? And they're like, no, my primary doctor sent me to my cardiologist. I'm like, okay, great. So your kidneys are the reason why this is happening, or your liver is why this is happening, or your electrolytes are imbalanced, which still goes back to the kidneys, or your pancreas is off and the insulin is causing some problems and that's affecting this as well. And I'm like, so let me get this right. So you're seeing a cardiologist, anybody else? And they're like, no. And I'm like, then we've got a problem. And that's when I like to make sure that I'm like, that way, what I could do is help them get to a point of stability. If they need to see somebody else, then they can at that point, but I can help direct them to what that place is. Not be like, I think you need to go see this doctor. And if that doesn't work, you need to go see that doctor. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to pawn you off on this guy over here. And then, hey, guess what? We're going to remove that because you don't really need that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't ever take something out of your body. It was not left over from evolution. It's a lie. Everything in the body is needed.
Everything is connected, and everything, especially your kidneys especially affect your heart. But for sure, everything is connected and everything affects everything differently. And if it's malfunctioning, it could be signaling in a different part of your body, and people don't get that. I work with a lot of doctors as well. I always like to say, because I wanted to go get my doctorate, and then I was like, this is not fun. I want to study all the things that I want to study. I want to be able to nerd out on the things that I want to nerd out in real time. I don't want to have to do it in a school setting with this sterile and this guy telling me and all of this nonsense. It's annoying. So I do a lot of independent study, my independent study has come so far that I also work with a lot of doctors because they are starting, especially now in 2026, with all of the things in the news and everything changing, they are starting to notice where they do fall short. And they are starting to accept that more and more and seek out help from people that are identifying those shortfallings. It is really nice to see that things are starting to turn. You mentioned your grandma was always labeled a kook, and that was the same with my mom. My mom was used natural medicine for everything. If I had strep throat, cotton balls that were soaked in lavender oil inside my ears. She would adjust my energy. She would pray over me. She would do all of these different kinds, teach me to meditate, teach me how to use my breath to eradicate illness from my body. And people would say, oh, that's woo. But now people are making millions of dollars doing all of these. My mom was doing that actually fought my sickness, that actually moved the needle forward on me feeling better. Oftentimes, I would go to my mom's house and she would do all the things, and I would wake up better the next day.
Yep.
And so I really appreciate what you guys are doing. How do you guys address the skeptics? Since we were talking about woo and the kooks and all of the things, specifically the argument that natural remedies lack clinical evidence.
Honestly, we don't. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and we're comfortable and confident in what we do because we've seen and produced results. So anyone who is a naysayer on natural medicine or whatever we're doing, I really don't care. And anyone who puts comments in any of our videos or posts or whatever, we always treat it like thank you for your support. You took the time to stop and watch the video, so you supported us. To me, I don't engage that because it doesn't matter.
So I will tell you a story on my end. I've had it happen a couple times, handful maybe. But I did get into kind of a back and forth with a nurse one time, a nurse practitioner, I'm sorry. And she was telling me that she thought what I did was basically placebo. I turned towards her and I said, even if it is placebo, that means that I'm getting people to believe that they can heal themselves, which isn't a harm to them. It actually is more healing than traditional medicine that can cause a lot of health issues or problems in the long run, and actually has been proven or as has a high rate. I think it's third or if not higher, highest death rate in the world is through malpractice. So if I could do something that is more natural, and even if it's just getting you to believe you can heal yourself, I'll do that all day long.
With our mind.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately what we do for people is, yes, we give them support through supplementation, mindset coaching, and lifestyle adjustments. We're giving them the power back, as we talked about at the beginning of the show. We're giving their power back to them. We support them along the way, but ultimately they have that natural healing ability because they're now giving their bodies through nutrition, exercise, supplementation, they're giving their bodies the ability to heal on its own now. And when you do give your body the ability to heal, it's a miraculous machine that will. And yeah, I love that story. I remember standing there listening to them talk about that. I remember that day very well.
When what you're doing is rooted in integrity, the truth is quiet. You don't have to defend what you're doing. There's
Nope.
nothing to defend.
That's correct. Yeah. You don't need to, you don't need to do anything.
So walk us through what a first visit or intake looks like with a new client. What are you guys assessing?
So when we do a first scan and a first appointment with somebody, what it usually does is we have somebody sit down and they do what's called a bioenergetic scan or a body scan.
Now keep in mind the intake paperwork's already done.
Yeah, this has been done. We have a background on what's going on with them. We know all their information, familial, all kinds of stuff on them. So we do a bioenergetic scan. The scan goes over the ears and it's non-invasive. All it's doing is taking this neat wave system, which scalar wave, it was made, the idea and concept was brought up by Nikola Tesla, very famous man, that we talk about the telephone pole, the reason why you can talk to somebody on the other end of the world and it be in this moment and not delayed is because of that scalar wave. So it's this wave that's sent out and bounces back that information in real time. So that happens in the headphones on these crystals. It sends out information into the body through the ears and then bounces off each tissue. And in any place that there's a malfunction in the body or there's disconnect or there's an organism that shouldn't be there, any of that, it kicks back information into the headphones and then it tells me what is going on inside the system. And it usually says it in medical terms, but I always tell people I don't care about the medical terms because here's the thing. If it says that you're insulin diabetic, I don't care. It means you don't regulate your insulin properly. Why? Now that I care about. I do not care about a label. I care about what the root cause of that issue is. So that's why I will never sit there and tell you, this is what you have. No, you don't have that. And I'm sorry, even when you go to the doctors and they tell you have something, you don't ever claim it. You say, I was diagnosed with, and you work on fixing that problem. Never claim it because once you claim it, it's yours. And I mean that in every way. So then we put them on the scan. It gives back some information. I talk through it. I figure out where the highest inflammation points are. And I also talk about where there's connection, whether that's liver to the pancreas to the heart, whether that's liver to the kidneys to the thyroid, all these different places. And we talk about the connection. But we tell people, listen, the body is a very complex template. And basically, I see all your inflammation in the body, but we're going to pinpoint it even further. And so that's when we go into the muscle testing or kinesiology. And then we actually test to see what your body is in need of at that time. So many people think I need all these supplements. Guess what? You don't. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you need a digestive enzyme, you need your bowels moving, and you might have to get some viral load killed off or something like that in order to get the body to calm down. And then we can see what's actually happening beneath that surface level because inflammation makes a lot of noise. And until we get past that noise, we don't know for sure if this and this is the cause. We have an idea that it will be, considering some of these are very forthcoming in what the problems they cause. But regardless, we never decide right away that this is going to be the issue and that this is how we're going to address it because everyone's been individual. We have different supplements from different brands. We've had top line brand supplements not work for people. Supplements that I would bet money on that this person went through hell and back again to make sure it was the purest product. And I think these doctors are top line, does not work for somebody. Another product does. And so I'm like, why are we putting something in our body that's causing even more inflammation? Because that inflammation means the system still can't calm down to heal. So you're not going to get the full benefits of it. So it really matters to pinpoint what you need from start to finish.
Love it. So what are the most common conditions or complaints? What does a natural protocol look like for those?
I see a lot of kids on my end, but I do see adults. There's a lot of kids with stomach issues. This is very interesting. And this happens to do with a lot with giving them adult doses of, Pepsid AC or Tums and things that basically kill off their acid in their stomach. And then they feed them junk because they just don't care. And so these kids are eating junk. They're taking these adult supplements that, first off, even adults shouldn't take. So I shouldn't even say it like that. Adults shouldn't even take these things. Then they're going into the doctors where the doctors are giving them medication that's 10 times worse. So I'm like, oh my gosh, why? But a lot of times it's stomach issues. And the big thing about the stomach issue is it's just getting the enzymes back on track. And those kids leave that office so excited. I've never had so many kids say, I haven't been able to eat, sleep. I want to throw up all the time. And they walk out of there and within a matter of like about a week to 2 weeks working with us, and they're like, I feel amazing. And we continue after that point because there's some repair that has to be done. And I tell people, don't stop at the beginning because you will start feeling better. That we know. The problem is the longevity of it because you need to repair what has been broken because you've been basically tormenting your system, telling it what to do. And it's like, I know better than you. Why do you keep giving me this shit? This is crap. And so it gets really angry with you because you're telling it that it doesn't know what it naturally needs to do. Well, that's not true. You just need to give it the right stuff so it knows what to do.
Yes, the right fibers, right? The right different
Yeah.
foods that you're eating. And then pro tips for parents, just to a little caveat, do not give your child anything for your child's stomach microbiota. Your microbiota is so vastly important. The health of all of that bacteria in there, all of the stuff that's in there, that is a perfect little ecosystem of love that loves on your kid, on your kid's brain, on your kid's everything, on your kid's inflammation, your cytokines, all of the things. Cytokines are inflammation markers for our listeners that don't know what that is. But like your gut microbiota is where it all begins. So if you are giving them medicine, you are stripping them of that defense system straight
Mhm.
up. So please
Well,
give them that. And also do not give them Takis or hot chips.
uh,
Do it.
yeah, it's
Hot
funny.
endocrine disruptors. My child ate so many Takis and hot chips. It permanently messed with her woman hormones, and it gave her a horrible bleeding ulcer. And she was only 17 years old. There's no reason why a 17-year-old child should have a bleeding ulcer. Do not give your children Takis or medicine that will strip their gut microbiota. What were you going to say, Shawn?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just saying we like to speak with our patients about um, big brain versus little brain. And this is something that we got from our first mentor, how our bodies have two different brains. We actually obviously have our brain up here, but we also have our big brain, which is down in our gut. And when that's off, like what you were just talking about, JLo, when that's off, the big brain now controls the little brain. So when you get food cravings for sugar, alcohol, other bad foods, that's actually coming from your gut. It's not up here. That is all the bad gut bacteria down there craving the shitty food. And that's where that's coming from. So we always call it the big brain down here, little brain up here, and the big brain always controls the little brain. But when you get your gut back into the right place where it's equally balanced, good and bad bacteria, the cravings go away. There's no more sugar. And now you're eating to live. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, let's go grab some lunch or dinner. This sounds good. Instead of, oh, I'm craving XYZ. You shouldn't have cravings for anything. If you have cravings for something, there's something wrong. And even if you have cravings for health food or good foods, there's something wrong. Your body is telling you there's something wrong. So when you get that gut back in good shape, the cravings absolutely go away. And then as far as the other patient, I know she talked about a lot about the kids, but as far as other patients that we have, it's those moments or those things that keep you up in the middle of the night. You know, whether whatever it is that's not letting you sleep. Why are you getting up 3 4 times a night? Why are you waking up even if you slept all night, waking up in the morning tired, lethargic, having afternoon crashes? Depression, anxiety, those are the type of things that we address and we find the root cause of it. It can take time, but we do get to the root cause of why that's happening, and then we're able to address it.
I love it. It's perfect. Just getting to the source of things. And that's what I do a lot of in my work as well, is to help people get to the source of their issues. I teach people how to eat essentially for sustainable living. That's my nutrition coaching. And I try to bring in that holistic aspect. So I think it's so great that we were able to meet and that our orbits were able to collide, because now we have so many opportunities for collaboration on things that can open up for us. And so I think that's really cool. But also, I just think it's so cool that you guys are spreading and multiplying these concepts and these ideas that are so vastly important and that help us far more than any money making pharmaceutical BS thing that we have to deal with. We do not want to deal with this corporate BS where we are being shuttled into these medications that are destroying our gut microbiota, that are destroying our ability to fight off disease, because there are doctors that are getting kickbacks and they're not the best people, because doctors are people too, and money is green. And it's beautiful that there's people that want to develop a natural way to help people to find these pathways naturally to really be able to heal their bodies from the source. It's an awesome thing of what you guys are doing. So tell me a healing story that you guys have that still sticks with you, like a client outcome that reminded you exactly why you do this work.
She is 14, 15 now.
Yes, she's
She's
15.
15 now.
She's 15.
She came in with a horrific stomach problem. She was missing school a ton.
Depression, anxiety.
She had depression, anxiety. She just felt very removed from everything, and she was in so much pain. She just couldn't even get up in the morning sometimes. And it took a while, but we kept working on stuff and we kept working on stuff. She felt good within the first week, though. She did. Um, so much so she was going to the bathroom a little bit too much, but I know her body was trying to get rid of the toxins out of her system. But now we saw her probably a couple months ago, and she was joining sports again. She had completed out her school year. She said she was so happy that her family said that she was really engaging with them. She was, bringing them into conversations more and talking to them. She had a whole different light to her. And even as you saw her come in, she just glowed differently. She just had this beautiful glow to herself that it was so neat to just watch like a beautiful, innocent child that looked so dull and like her life had been stripped out of her become so beautifully blossomed and healthy again. And actually, she was exuberating it. She was just super excited. And so she was a beautiful story. Now we have older gals, we have older men. There's all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to think of some great stories.
There's quite a few Google reviews. You can look up Peak Wellness 365, and there's a bunch of Google reviews of people who've left their story in their words. You're welcome to go read those. And we have testimonials online as well.
I have one actually that was a great one, and I'm still working with him to this day, but he told me, he said, man, you have given me the most success I've ever seen. But this gentleman came in to see me. He had some heart issues and his blood pressure was extremely elevated. And everybody told him he had high blood pressure, and they had him on medication and this, that, and the other. And I started looking at his kidneys, and I was like, do you have gout? And he goes, no, I was never diagnosed with that. And I said, well, your kidneys and your uric acid is off the chain. You're showing up for gout. A little bit before I had seen him, like a couple years before, he had an attack that they thought was due to the high blood pressure, where his blood vessel burst into his left eye and he lost all his eyesight in his left eye. I started diving a little bit deeper, and I'm like, okay, so your blood pressure's up. So this tells me that your gout could be because it's causing a lot of issues with uric acid, and he was having issues with certain foods. It's going to create your blood pressure to go up. And then on top of that, the other thing that I realized as well is that he didn't have high blood pressure issue. What happened is he had an oxalate issue that caused his uric acid to become so elevated that the crystals from the uric acid burst into his eye and caused part of his eyesight to go down. Since then, I started working with him on different things that we started doing. His blood pressure's gone down. He's recovered 30% of his eyesight. His health, he said he feels a lot better. He's energized more. He's older too. He's a much older gentleman. I think he's almost in his 70s, but he said his energy's up and he definitely feels he was having some issues with back acne. And he said that a lot of that has since subsided since he started doing all the stuff that we were doing. And he said he felt very confident, especially when he had to go on a trip where he was on the beach and he didn't wear a shirt. And like I said, it was really cool because it was like something that I had never seen before.
I just thought of one really, if we can share us one story, share Terry's stroke story.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about him. Again, another good one. I'm seeing a guy that we're about 5 or 6 months out now. He was post-stroke by 3 months. And usually when you're a stroke victim, you have to hit him right away because there's a lot of issues in recovery because the brain cells die and everything. Couldn't walk, couldn't talk, lost his ability to go to the bathroom on his own and things like that. So his wife was taking care of him and doing all the stuff for him. We started doing this really unique therapy in the office. It's referred to as auricular, which is kind of acupuncture with electrical stimulation, but it's not with needles, it's an electrical stimulator. I started working on points for stroke victims and recovery, and I gave him a couple supplements. And he, being 6 months post, it was actually noticeable within the first month. He started talking to me again, and he started moving his arm again. And now, post this, he's full sentences. His wife said he's catching everything, and he's walking on his own. He bathrooms on his own. He gets out of bed on his own. He's able to move fully on his own. And that was just through the therapy because she was in between insurances. So she wasn't able to use any of the traditional medicine. And somebody had come into the office and said that they started using this tool for their stroke and had almost a full recovery. And he is now in the same boat.
That is absolutely remarkable. I have a testimony too. You guys have a lot. I have a testimony as well for you guys.
Okay.
I have a client that I work with. She is an older client, but you could not tell. You could not tell. And she comes to you guys. I won't mention her name because I didn't get her permission, but she is a absolute badass. And our collaboration, working together on her health, me doing the strength and conditioning side with her nutrition, and you guys really focusing on her gout and her oxidation and all of the things that you guys are focusing on. And I take what you guys give her and I just integrate it right into her nutrition plan, and it is perfect and seamless, and it's been working well for her. If we could get her to eat all of her meals, that would be awesome.
I agree with that one. I know who you're talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know you know. If I could get her to eat all of her food, she would definitely have, and maybe get a little bit more sleep. But she is an absolute badass. She deadlifted, I want to say, I don't remember what it was. I would have to look it up, but it was way more than she thought she could do. We were doing a PR challenge, and I was like, just do it, pick it up. And she did it. And it was like, oh my gosh, what? I can't believe it. But she has done amazing work. So I appreciate you guys for supporting my work with that client in the ways that you have. It's been really remarkable. So, but next I want to talk about the app that you guys developed. What gap did you see in wellness space that made you decide that an app was the right tool to fill it?
It was a bridge to build to bring these gaps together because there were so many different websites that they had to go to. Oh, you got to go to this site to order this supplement. And if you want these supplements, you got to send us a message if you need a refill. Your notes are all here on the portal. They'll be sent to your email. Then if you want information on this protocol, that's a separate email that's going to be sent to you. It was a lot of information. It goes back to what I was talking about with the workouts with you and I. To us, it's easy because that's our livelihood. That's what we do every day. But to somebody who doesn't see that all the time, it's overwhelming. I have all this stuff coming at me left and right. And especially for our older patients, the ones in their 60s, 70s, 80s, they're not that they're technologically ignorant, but they don't have that key to understanding a lot of it. And I get that. I help my, my parents are in their 70s, like early 70s. I help them with their phones all the time. Like I get that. I have a, soft spot for that, and I'm willing to help people. So that was kind of our chief frustration kind of thing. And even for us, like you look at our laptops and we have 60 windows open because we got to go here to do this and then here to do this. So we thought if there was a way to build an app and a website or a portal that we can bring all of this together into one, how would that look? And we kind of came together. It was kind of funny how it happened because we both had an idea at the same exact time on what we wanted to do, but it was two different sides to things. Julianne had an idea to help other practitioners in this space, whether it be trainers, chiropractors, physical therapists, other natural medicine doctors, to have a place where their patients could go and have everything in hand. And then on my side, what I was thinking was, okay, how do we have everything together? All of the supplements on one site, all of the protocols on one site, all of the, all of everything in one. It's one login, everything there. So we started building this, and with the power of AI helping, we took all of our knowledge, everything we've learned over the last, God, I don't know, 15, 20 years, many books we've read, many different classes we've taken, podcasts we've been on, interviews we've done, we've been on local media many times, and we put that all together and basically developed a brain. We call it the brain of this site. And so it talks, acts, everything like us. So if you ask a question on the AI side, it's going to kick you back an answer from us. But anyway, and that's just a small portion of it. But the name of the site or the app is called Natural Med Hub. And we called it Natural Med Hub because obviously the natural medicine space, but we called it the hub because it should be all encompassing for everything that you need. So it's still a work in progress. I mean, it is done, it's rolled out, it's live. You can go to naturalmedhub.com and the free week access is on there. If you go to naturalmedhub.com and put in the access code, it's NMH and then the number 7 and then DAY, it'll give you a week or 7 days of a free trial. And you can go on there and peruse and take a look at different things. So there's two sides to this portal. There's a practitioner side and a patient side. I could probably be on here for the next hour talking about it, so I don't want to get too deep into it.
It helps them take control of their life again. So there is stuff like mindset stuff. If you want to have your own workouts while you're not working with JLo and you need some extra ideas, it's got some good stuff on there. And also some nutritional plan ideas. So there's menus on there as well. It has kids corner, so it helps with kids that are dealing with stress. It offers outlets for you to talk to, basically not talk to the AI, but talk your emotions out like a journal, and then allow it to, you could either save some of it, or in cases when we work with people on emotional healing, we tell people to delete it or burn it or print it and burn it. So it gives them a lot of different options in that aspect. And then on the more practitioner side, it allows for you to have inventory. It allows you to really know what your business is doing in revenue, where everything is distributed. And it also allows for you to be able to interact with your patients a little bit more easily, as well as also not have to do it 24/7, because that can become really time consuming for some practitioners. So it offers a level to which they also get to utilize things on their own, instead of being like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you send this to me? Can you? And so then the practitioner never gets downtime. So this offers time and money back to the practitioner, which is so important, because as a practitioner on our end, we knew we needed to save ourselves from working at 11 and 12 o'clock a night after our appointments, where we needed to really probably be spending more time with our kids rather than spending more time in the business. Not that they weren't important people in our lives, because the practice is important to us and so are the patients. They mean the world to us, but we also have to have a life of our own and be able to focus on taking care of ourselves as well.
Amen to that, sister. I totally understand. Systems are super important, and for you to create something that can implement systems for practitioners and patients alike very easily is really awesome.
The other really cool thing about it is it records your sessions. So it records the session between you and the patient and then produces a full synopsis of the notes that's sent directly to the patient right away. So it's very clean, clear, and it's not something that you have to sit there late at night typing up manual notes for these people to give off. So it gives a very crystal
And it
clear.
does practice to practice. I
Yeah.
forgot to say that. That was the biggest highlight of it that I wanted because it was just like you and I working with the same patient. It would allow you to send over things to me, either send me a synopsis of things you're doing together or notes that you guys have done recently in order for me to know where she stands so that I can support you further in helping her grow rather than being like, so what did you talk about with J Lo? What did she have you doing? Oh, okay. So because sometimes stuff gets lost in translation and then we don't know and we don't want to step on other people's toes. So then we also don't give them the full support they need. So there's a practice to practice ability on that capability so that you can have a chiropractor talk to a natural medicine doctor if all they do is chiropractics and talk to the personal trainer that might need to that's doing some stuff on the physical side to help them that might need some physical therapy type work or myofascial type work or whatever.
I love that. And I would love to connect on that platform for our shared client because I think that it would really help her to get through a lot of the things that she's trying to get through. And if I have somebody telling her to eat all her meals, maybe she'll do that. So what does the data or feedback tell you so far about how people are using it and what's changing for them? Are people actively using it yet?
We just rolled this thing out not a couple of weeks ago. So it's brand new. So really what we're looking for right now is people to use that access code, get the free week, and we're looking for feedback. We want to know what's working well, what is missing. Maybe we have things on there that shouldn't be on there. Maybe there's too much. We're looking for feedback from people. That's why we're offering that free week for anyone to try it out because it's so brand new that like I said, it's a work in progress. It doesn't mean that it's final and that's what we're settling with. We want it to be something that everyone can relate to, and it's something that's going to work for everyone.
Will you repeat the website and the code for our listeners so that they can?
Yes. Yes. So naturalmedhub.com. And then when you scroll down on the homepage there, it will ask for your email and then an access code. And the access code is the letter N as in Nancy, M as in Michael, H as in health, the number 7, and then the word day, DAY.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So what is the hardest part about operating outside the conventional medical system, like practically, financially, professionally? What would you say?
Um, I mean, there's challenges in any of those different areas that you talked about. I mean, financially is one that I would highlight on because there's a lot of people that we want to help that just aren't able to afford paying out of pocket. And our services, we've priced our services very competitively so we can help as many people as possible. There are people we know personally that charge thousands of dollars for these type of treatments. And we came together and we wanted to be able to help more people. And when you charge a premium rate, I get that. I understand. But when you charge a premium rate, you're taking a lot of those folks out. So, financially can be a struggle for some, and we do our best to help those people where we can. And I still see a scenario where insurance will eventually play into this, where insurance will help cover natural medicine costs. I think we're getting there. We're not quite there yet, but it's happening slowly but surely. And I think that will help bridge that gap for those people that can't afford paying out of pocket.
Prescribe personal trainers, please. Thank you. I would appreciate it.
Yeah,
But prescribe all of this stuff, natural medicine, like
correct. Yeah.
to get this
Yeah.
stuff covered on their insurance so that actually people can get better instead of having to just feed into the system all the time. Like, come on,
Yeah.
get with the insurance companies.
Agreed.
How do you see the relationship between natural medicine and conventional medicine evolving over the next decade?
That's exactly what I see. And that I've been an advocate for, lobbyist, however you want to call it. I would put in the work where I need to get that out there for insurance companies to get on the ball and start covering these services. I mean, we currently do obviously the HSA and then FSA for some. There's some insurances that will do the FSA, but that can be more involved. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of back end work that you have to do to actually get that approved. Where if the insurance companies just kind of wake up and come to the realization this is where they should be, it would be a lot easier of a transition.
I think we're getting to a point where I think doctors, psychologists, there's a lot of different people I've had encounters with or had somebody refer somebody over to me where they're starting to realize the benefit of going back to nature. And that's where natural medicine is going back to nature and utilizing the resources that we have that were given to us, and actually putting that to work and allowing our bodies to go back to where it actually spawned from, really. And I think that a lot more of those practitioners are starting to see that maybe this is an arena to which we can all help each other instead of being a competitive place.
I love that for sure. So, if you could change one thing about how the average person approaches their health starting tomorrow, what would it be?
So I want to take a moment. This is actually a good place to segue into this one. One of the things that I think you could do that will change your health is really to start looking at yourself as a value and that you have a lot to offer yourself and others around you. And if you weren't here, that there would be a huge gap without you. And that is a mindset thing. So I know that doesn't go into nutrition right now or the other components,
But it is.
but it is in a different aspect. And so I think the problem that we're running into is neglect is a very it's a very common thing. And I actually had another patient tell me this the other day that it actually stopped me in my tracks because even as a practitioner we tend to neglect ourselves, right? But she said something to me that was really interesting because she comes from a childhood of trauma and I came from a very horrible childhood of trauma. And one of the things that she said is, as a child, we were neglected and we learned how to manage through that. But now we're adults and we're doing the same things to ourselves and making it okay. And she's like, that's not okay anymore. And we need to stop doing that because we do matter. And now we have the option to allow that to happen to us or not. And I was like, oh, crap. So it was like, after that, I realized that I needed to value myself more. And again, it goes back to the well. If you don't have anything left in the well, you have nothing to offer somebody else. Um, and so it was one of those things where, as much as I want to help everybody, if I don't also take care of myself, but that also goes for a person that needs to get help, right? If you don't love yourself, if you don't value yourself, you're not going to change anything. So you need to change the mindset first. That really is a big part of it. And then from there, the rest is really a piece of cake.
I would agree with that. Tony Robbins says something. He said, raise the standard of what you give yourself.
Yeah.
And because you deserve better, period. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. And you need to come into the mindset and understanding that you deserve better and that you've been giving yourself something substandard. Like
Mhm.
people that smoke cigarettes, he uses as an example, the person that will smoke a cigarette, they're trying to quit, but they will say, I'm a smoker still.
Yeah.
If you're still saying that, then that is what you are.
Right.
But raise the standard of what you give yourself. Do you deserve to be a smoker? No. Do you deserve to have disgusting black lungs and cancer and everything else? No. So raise your standard of what you give yourself. You don't deserve that. You deserve better. Quit smoking. You're not a smoker. Throw it in the trash.
That's the one thing I disagree with AA when they have everyone stand up and say, I'm an alcoholic. No, you're not.
The words I am
Yes,
are creation words.
it is.
Yes.
It is. I'm like,
Period.
stop saying that.
Yep.
Like, you're
It's
not.
just as bad as saying I have. You
Yeah.
don't have anything.
Yeah.
I tell people, I'm like, I will deny I have anything until I die from that thing. And even then, I'm going off into the ether saying I didn't have that shit.
I used to be a heroin addict. I was in those rooms, NA and AA, and I never bought into the fact that they were telling me I was an addict and I had a disease. I said,
Yeah.
no, I
No.
cannot believe that that's true. That is not true. I am not an addict forever. I do not have a disease. I can overcome this, and I'm gonna overcome this. And they
But
would,
that's exactly why you are where you are now. And you don't continue the cycle of going back there because you've fallen off the wagon and oh, woe is me, and I, this, that, made excuse for this and made excuse for that. And we know people who are like that, who struggled with this for years and years and years, and they'll be sober for years and years and then have something happen, and then boom, they're right back doing it again. And oh, I'm this, I'm this. I'm like,
I have a disease, and
forget
I'm
that.
like, yeah,
Got
you
the.
do because you claimed it.
I will say one thing that a couple of great books got. We've been really diving into the audiobooks lately, but something that I just remembered, there's no accidents here. None of us are accidents. God, however you want to look at God, universe, whatever, religion or whatever, however you believe, they don't make mistakes. The universe and God does not make mistakes. So you're not a mistake. You're not an accident. You're here for a reason. Go deliver.
yes, I believe it. I believe it. So what's the vision for the app in the next 5 years? Where do you want it to grow?
I hope that it's actually picked up pretty mainstream in some of the medical professions across the board. So not just like natural medicine. It will be picked up across a lot of different medical professions in order to help bridge this gap for the patient or people, because it's really, let's take patient off the table. We're people. It's going to help us bridge the gap of being people. It's going to bring that community back together. It's going to help us step back into that resources of the earth and identify that this is where we belong and this is where we came from and this is where we will feel the love again as if we just reconnect with it. And it'll also help practitioners save time for themselves, help them move past this gap of feeling like they have to be everything and in everything and on everything and da 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 da, right? It allows them to save money and time for themselves so that they can actually buy back their life as well with their family, with their friends, whoever it is that they really want to spend that time with. So really helping bridge everybody coming together and offering different things for different communities and in different ways.
So where can people find the app? We already did that, but do it one more time. And where can people follow your work and connect with you? Instagram handles, wherever you need.
Yeah, again, naturalmedhub.com. Naturalmedhub.com. Pretty simple and easy. Our clinic website is peakwellness365.com. And you can find both of us, Instagram, Facebook, Peak Wellness 365. Where else are we?
Oh gosh,
I
Facebook.
know we're on TikTok. We're not actively on TikTok right now, but we do have a TikTok account. But anything's under Peak Wellness 365. You can find us on all of those. Or our names, Shawn Lechuga or Julianne Lechuga.
Awesome. And is there anything that we didn't cover that you guys want people to hear?
I'll wrap up with this. It's one of my favorite analogies. We actually learned this from our current mentor up in Cheyenne, and he talks about the fireman versus the carpenter example. And that's how we present it when we have a new patient or somebody in the office who maybe is having some frustration or some questions. And how we present it is you don't send a carpenter into a burning building. So you think of your body right now is on fire from years, it could be years of trauma, years of bad eating, years of drug or alcohol abuse, years of depression or anxiety. Your body is on fire. We cannot send a carpenter in to fix a current burning building. We have to put that fire out first. And that's why, again, we circle back to the 30, 40, 50 different supplements. That's why those aren't working for you. So we put the fire out first, give you your essentials, Then once the fire is out, now we can send the carpenter in to start building that building back. When he shared that example to us, it hit me because it's so simple for somebody to really understand how our bodies are working and operating.
I love that example for sure. You want to have the right tools for the right job, and
Yeah.
you can't have that unless you know what's going on. And so it's a beautiful thing that what you guys are doing. I so appreciate you guys coming on the pod. I appreciate you, Dr. Julianne, for expanding upon your grandmother's kookiness. I think that kookiness is probably the ticket that we need to a lot of things that we've missed out on over the last 50 years
Yeah.
because of the way our government is and because of the direction that everything went towards consumerism and materialistic behaviors. So I think that more and more people that are bringing us back to the natural order to where we belong and we should be. I think that both of you doing that and being a part of that and helping me in my mission to multiply health and allowing me to help you in your mission to multiply health, I think that it will really create something beautiful and fantastic. And I'm so happy that you were on my podcast today.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having us. We so appreciate
I
you.
just want to throw one thing in really quick. I think she wore this as a badge of honor. One of her siblings actually called her a witch doctor one time.
She did.
And she-
And now she comes to see me and I've helped her tremendously. So, yep.
I'm a witch.
I'm all like, bring out the bags of stuff.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I would rather independently study medicine on my own and not have a ridiculous amount of like credentials running out of my ears, but be the crazy medicine woman that has all the answers. I think that we
Exactly.
need those in society, and society has gotten away from that because that humility speaks to people's hearts. And so having somebody that does have the credentials to lean upon and having so many others in our industry to bounce ideas off of and create with. Of course, I'm a certified personal trainer, all of that stuff, nutrition coach. But when it comes to these natural concepts, it was the medicine woman that people went to for help. It wasn't this guy in a white coat.
Well, I agree with that. And here, just quickly, you know, now that traditional medicine's only been around for 150 years. Native American medicine, Chinese medicine, since
for 6,000.
yeah, 6,000. But Native Americans been since we basically all were on this planet, since the start of everything. So Native Americans have been here since the beginning, as well as other cultures. But they've been intertwined into other cultures. But a quick note off of that one too is if that didn't work back then, how are we sitting here today? Because they're all our ancestors. So if that didn't actually work and we did need medicine, we wouldn't have this many people sitting here today to be able to attest and talk about this. So
Medicine has been making people sicker for the last 50 years.
we're actually reversing.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody thinking that we should not go back to our roots and we should stick with this very sterile model of chemical bombardment, no. We have been fed rather a bill of lies for a very long time about what is good for us, what's bad for us, blah, blah, blah. They change it week by week on the news.
Oh,
Um, 1 week it's coffee's awesome, the next week coffee's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Butter's awesome, the next week butter's gonna murder you. And
Yeah.
while you're and it's prowling around your house right now.
yeah. It's called order out of chaos. They create the problem, then they come up with the solution, and they sell you the solution, and they're looked like as the hero. When in fact we just need to listen to ourselves and our own body and do what we're meant to do. And that's, what's that?
You can be your own hero.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep.
You are fearfully and wonderfully made with all components inside of you to heal your body.
We don't need anyone telling us what you should be doing, shouldn't be doing. Like that's something that we need to learn and figure out for ourselves. We all have common sense. We're all intelligent human beings. Like you don't need somebody else to tell you when to get up, when to go take a dump. People are so reliant on others to tell them what to do and how to live their lives, that they're basically zombies now. And it sucks.
Yeah. Well, Shawn and Julianne Lechuga, I appreciate you both so much for coming on the Rough Diamond podcast today. Your insight and everything is just welcome and very like a breath of fresh air. So
Thank you.
Thank you, JLo.
and I am sure I will see you guys soon. And for our listeners, come check out Littleton, Colorado. It's a cool place. There's a lot of people that want to help you be healthy here.
And take that from natives, like stay away from downtown and stay away from the mountains in the wintertime because it's just crazy up there unless you like long lines. Yeah, go explore some small towns like Littleton. That's the place to be.
Place to be. All right, you guys have a wonderful day, and I
You too.
will definitely be talking to you soon.
All
Thank
right.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.